Hi, folks.
Hi,
Hi, Akash.
hi, Jincheng.
Hi, Cash. Hi, E.
Hi, Josh. Hi, Feynman.
Hello.
Hey Akash. Hey everyone.
Oh,
We can wait a few more minutes. I think Binbin is still on his way.
Who is today's moderator? Akash or Bingbing?
I'll be moderating, but I think Binbin is going to take some notes. Hi, Binbin.
Hello, everyone.
Great. I think we have a few people off today. I know Susan's out of office. Shoei's also out of office. So I think let's just get started. Um, so we have a relatively light agenda today. So if anyone has anything else to add to it, go feel free to just add to the hack markdown. But we can start off by kind of talking about some of the housekeeping things. I know over the past week, Bin, you set up a new repository. So thank you for setting up the new git.github repository. Um, so did you want to share a little bit about that work?
Yes. So basically, we want to add some like governance documentation and other like security and code of conduct. So I already have a PR to adding those documentations, and this repo would be like a base repo for all the repos on the Ratify project. So once we added those files in this repo, then we can remove the same files from other repos like from the Ratify repo. So it will be easy for us to manipulate all all the same files, and also we can do some like community related like work items under this repo, uh, like repo move and other like if we want to do some like voting stuff, we can always do those like work item under the GitHub repo.
Got it.
And yeah, before we we do the like repo move, I wonder if we should just nominate the owners and the maintainers for the Ratify project.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I guess the owners are a different set of group of people, and then the maintainers are separate, or is there generally an overlap between the two?
I think a bit different. The owner usually the admin of the repo or the org, but the
Okay.
maintainer is the people that are like contributing like frequently to the repo or the organization.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess since we're just starting off, do we need to do a vote for each group of people, or can we just start with a baseline and then this guidance for nominating new people would be used in subsequent actions? And for the first baseline, we just kind of set a core group of owners and maintainers that we agree upon right now. Or do we need to like open up an issue per person and then figure that out individually? I'm not sure what the Feynman, if you have more information about that.
Yeah, in general, I would suggest we nominate people. We can nominate people or self-nominate well an issue. We had this kind of approach in Notary Project and Auras because this is the first time in Ratify. I think maybe we can remove the owners.md file from this pull request and then let this potential candidate to self-nominate, or we can ask other existing maintainers to nominate new org level maintainers. And also, if someone wanna self-nominate, I think they may need to promise they have enough time in this project, because sometimes they will be actively response to issues and pull requests, and also some decision making in the org level. So I'm thinking that maybe we can ask people to self-nominate or let existing maintainers to nominate someone about issues, and we can vote on separate issues.
Yes, go for it.
Yeah. So which repository are we talking about, or we talk about the Ratify project?
We create a new repository which is like .github repo.
Yeah.
It's
I think for if we are talking about this specific repository, we can just create an issue to nominate some seed maintainers and also code owners. I checked the Ratify repo. We have a maintainers, right? List the maintainers for this repo, and we have also the code owners. So normally code owners will be people who is able to review issues PRs in this repo, right? So I think for this specific .github repo, we can just create an issue and then nominate the seed maintainers. Of course, anyone else, we can post in the Slack channel. Anyone else they want to nominate themselves, it is also fine.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think we can open up an issue here for a seed owners list and then I guess seed maintainers list as two separate issues, and then propose a group of people and then have people chime in yay or nay on that. Maybe have the Git vote established on that. And then if people want to self-nominate or nominate others, maybe they open up a separate issue per person for that.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So we can create those issues after this. Beyond that, for this PR, Bin, I see that you've added, so we've added the reviewing guide as well as the security guide. I'm curious, where is this a standard template that we've gotten from somewhere, or where is?
I'm just following notation and the Auras project.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. I think the other thing that I noticed was that you can actually add looks like you can add some sort of profile README, and that's going to show, it's probably going to populate something up here. If we wanted to add like a little description about the project, we could as well. So
Yeah.
So moving on to the next topic. So we talked about this a little bit last week. We wanted to get votes on donating 2 different sub-projects, moving them into the Ratify project organization. So the first one was Shuei's Docker Ratify plugin. And thanks, Bin, for setting up the voting system. So it looks like we have some votes in. Who's like configured here to actually, whose vote will actually matter? Or is it just anyone who votes will be accounted for?
So actually, I added a team, which
Okay.
is Ratify org maintainers. If you scroll up to the Ratify project org, yeah, if you go back to org and say the teams on teams tab on the top.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
just me, you, and Susan.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can add more people once we create the issue.
Got it. Okay, makes sense. Cool. And then the other one similarly is the Containerd POC work. So if folks get a chance, could you just vote on this one? Bin, how long do you think we should wait before we close the poll? I guess is it by default open for 7 days or?
Yeah, default is 7 days, but I remember for Aorus it's 1 month. Is that correct? Or similar?
No, Oras is also 7 days by default.
Okay.
And the different thing between Ratify and Oras on the voting process is that Oras allows all org members to vote in the issue, and Git vote bot will count all opinions from org level members, not just org maintainers. And it will and the vote will be passed after a half of the members in favor of this proposal. That means at least 50% of users with binding votes in favor of this project, it will be accepted as a sub-project. I believe currently we only configure the Git vote to allow org level maintainers to vote, right? I'm thinking whether we should allow org members to vote, then we can have a wide range of opinions from the org members. We have more than 10 org members in this organization. We have 12 members.
So that means we should have at least 7 approvals from them. Oh, we have 12.
I think six members with in favor of binding vote will pass the proposal.
Okay.
So Feynman, for Oras, do you have to manually add members to the organization? So are those just sub-project maintainers and other people, or are there other folks in the community that can opt into being added to this org members list?
In terms of the org members, I think the org admin have to manually add new members and send invitation to potential new members. If you
I just
click
have
on
one. Oh, no,
go ahead.
I just have one concern. So if we are getting more and more members, then for each voting, does that mean we will involve like a lot of people? For example, if we have like 20 members, then we would require at least like 10 approvals. Would that be a difficult to get? get something passed.
Yeah, that might be a challenge if we get more and more people engaged in the organization. The decision-making process might be longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had some thoughts?
Yes. I just look around in the Ratify project. I think it seems something is missing because originally we only have a Ratify repo, right? And in Ratify repo we have maintainers. We have maintenance file, right? And also we have a code owners file. Same people are in the file. So for the maintainers, because we will have a repository maintainers and org level maintainers, right? Because we have more repository now in Ratify project. So maybe we can reference to Notary project that we can be clear who will be the repo maintainers, who will be the org maintainers. We can just list those names in the maintenance file. For the code owners file, it's actually practice of the GitHub. Normally, those people will be the reviewers of the PRs. If you create the PRs, those people will be automatically populate in the reviewers as the reviewers. So I think first for what we need to do is figure out the org maintainers and the repo maintainers, because originally we only have one repo, so the repo maintainers will be could be the org maintainers because we only have one, but now we have several repositories. So the maintainers for Ratify repo may not be maintainers for example, Ratify Web, Ratify for the .github, and also for the new repository we are going to move, right? But we can have org maintainers governing all the repositories. I think this is the first thing. The second thing is we are talking about moving the repository, right? And asking for vote. I think before we asking for vote, we need to settle the maintenance for the .github repository. So I think this repository was talked about last week, right? Because last week I was oof. So this repository is for governance purpose, right? Is that true?
Yes.
So we can, I would suggest that we first figure out the maintainers for this repository. So maintainers for this repository normally will be the governance maintainers. We can create an issue as we just discussed to nominate seed maintainers. Then once, and also the code reviews together, once those things are done, then the vote we can tag the governance maintainers for voting. And also we need to have the governance document. I'm not sure whether currently it is in Ratify repo. We also need to have a governance document in this repo that talking about the rules for the votes, whether we need only governance maintainers or in some cases we need organ level maintenance, and also the what will be the supermajority. And this is the second thing. Another thing that talking about this who will be the owner, how to add new members. I'm going to paste the link here. Yeah, I just paste the link in the chat. So this is the contributor letter document that I prepared for another project, and it was merged. I think a month ago. This is talking about how you can be contribute to the community. So first of all, you could be a normal contributor, so anyone can contribute. Then after that, you can be nominated as an organization member after you meet some criteria. Then you will be added into the members that Akash just showed in the page, who will be the member. Then after that, if you are a regular member and continues to contribute in certain area, for example, in certain repository, then you can be nominated to a sub-project maintainer. Then you will be added to the maintenance file. Your name will be added to that. And then if you still want to make big contribution and you commit to that, you can be nominated to become an organ level maintenance governing all the repository under the Ratify project. So it's a contributor letter. It is not just anyone contributing, then they can be added as an organization member into the name list that Akash just shown. You should start with the contributor first, contributing, and then you will be nominated by another contributor to become an organization member. So I think we talk about the moving repository and the vote. I think we need to first settle down the governance in .github repo. Then we can be clear about asking who should vote for this issue and what will be the majority for the vote. And I don't think we need to have many organization maintainers that requires, for example, if we are talking about the supermajority, two-thirds supermajority, if we have 6 maintainers, we need to have at least 4 maintenance votes. So yeah, so anyway, we needed to set down some governance first. And for this specific repository move, I think the governance maintenance will be eligible to vote, but in this .github repository, we don't have those maintenance ready yet, right? So we need to first vote for those maintainers, then ask the supermajority of those maintainers to vote for the repository move. And after the 2 repository move to Ratify projects, we need to add seed maintenance as well to those 2 repository. Yeah, that's some comments. I think the first thing we need to create a nominate maintainers for .github repo.
Thanks, E. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So basically, we need to introduce an equivalent contribution ladder as well as the some of these governance documents that I think Bin has also added in his PR, and then create issues to nominate the .github maintainers. And then after that, we can vote on the issues to accept the new repositories, right?
Yeah, first thing is the maintenance. So once we have maintenance and code owners, then it will be clear for who will review the PR, who will vote. Then we can do the resting of this repository. We need to settle on the maintainers first, maintainers and the code owners, those 2 files first in this repository.
Makes sense. Anything else to add regarding governance or again repo level maintainers? Nope.
Just
Okay.
one more comment. I'm thinking maybe we can keep our governance and decision-making process minimal viable at this moment. Just nominate active members as org maintainers and only allow org maintainers to vote. I think it will make the decision-making efficient when Ratify community is still in an early stage. I think it's easier to add new members to the voting process, but it might be harder to reduce people from the voting list. So I'm thinking we can keep the voters as minimal. Maybe just let org level maintainers to vote and make the decision.
You mean vote for the repository move, right?
Yeah, governance related proposal, just like the new project donation and also some other governance related decision making. Currently, we have two issues that was proposed to donate 2 projects. I think we can make sure these proposals are only for org level maintainers to vote and make decision. We don't need to expand to all org members because, as Bingbing said, it might make the decision making process longer. I think that's a valid concern.
I think we don't need to ask all the members for votes. They may not. I mean, we only need to have the because we have this governance reports created, right? The purpose is for governance issues. So so first, I don't think we need to ask all the organization members. As you see in the contributor letter, organization members are on the second level. They may not have a big contribution as sub-project maintenance and org level maintenance. So I think we don't need to have all the org members vote, but they can express their ideas, of course. But what I think is that we first need to have the maintenance for this governance repo settled. It could be some members already org maintainers, but we could have some other active maintainers that nominate for this .github as the seed maintainers. Yeah, Josh, please.
Yeah, so one quick question. Excuse me. I'm just curious on the contribution ladder, like what the benefits would be as you go through them. So for example, say I was a organizational member, what would be some things that I would be allowed to do at that level versus being kind of the organizational maintainer? I think if I'm saying that right, because it makes sense that we want to keep the group small so we can make decisions fast, and that the people in that group should have the most context to be able to make good decisions. That makes total sense. But I think as the project grows, there might be a scenario where we can say, this particular issue, we can scope the vote to the broader organizational members, and then maybe this particular issue is going to be left to the maintainers, and so you could have that flexibility. I think for now, definitely totally agree that it should be a small group that can make the majority decision pretty quick. But yeah, so my question here though is, as I don't know if the notation one has this, but as you progress in the ladder, what do you kind of unlock, so to speak, from a contributor standpoint? Like what are the benefits? Some of the benefits typically are you get a voice in voting for different things as you reach different levels. But I was just curious if we had any idea about like what are the things that we would allow people to do as they progress up this contribution ladder.
Yeah, that's for different letter we listed the qualifications and privileges for each letter. You can check for details. Of course, those are aligned in notary project, but this document can also amend if anything needed, as you said. Maybe for some cases that we require organization member to vote for some. I think that's totally fine.
Okay, yeah, that's all I had. I'll check through the document. Thanks, Z.
So back to moving the repository, I would suggest that because we set up this .github repo first, right? But I think at that time we should have the maintenance and the code owners as governance ready. Otherwise, it will be hard to review PRs and for example, vote for some issues because we don't have any maintainers for this .github repo. If anyone go to the .github repo, they cannot find anyone. But that could also mean that only org maintainers can make some decisions because we don't have the repository maintainers ready yet.
Sounds good. So I think first priority is going to be getting the governance repos maintainers set, and then we can take it from there for the follow-up items. All right. Moving on to the next issue. Josh, did you want to talk a little bit about the KMP work as well as the design document? I think you had another point here.
Oh, did I accidentally delete that? Yeah, there's open PR for design doc. I must have accidentally removed that line from the agenda. So that is, yeah, just open. It was what we reviewed before, but it was in the Hacker MD. So if you wanted that officially moved in the repo, there is a PR for that.
So are you ready for like a final review, or do you feel
Yes,
like
yeah.
a development document?
Yeah, people can more than welcome. Yeah, let's get some more comments in here before we to merge it in. So if people want to review this, leave some comments and I can update it for the design doc. That'd be great. So that's just the topic there. But
so the scope of this document is just going to be the refresh work that you've been focusing in on, right? And then the second would be maybe a second one about the different versionings of the certs and keys that we're going to keep track of. Okay.
Yep, I'll go through and revise this to keep that in mind, to make basically reduce the scope of it to that, to just the refresh on the resource level.
Got it. Okay.
So let me make a note of that real quick. Okay, I will get that done, and then probably next week I'll send an update in the Slack channel saying that it's ready for review, and then hopefully next time we meet, we can merge it next week, the doc.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you.
And then I think you have a draft PR out with the initial implementation. So if anyone wants to take a look or is curious, it's 1625.
Yep.
Cool. I think the only other issue we have on the agenda is this issue. I'm not sure who added it to the agenda, but did we want to talk about this one? This one is...
Yeah, I think this one was added by Bin, but I discussed with him offline. This is about I want to trigger some discussion on this signature verification lead time. So so as you know that to validate the signature, we need to Ratify need to interact with different entities, right? For example, Ratify need to interact with registry to download the signature and also fetch the descriptor. So and also Ratify need to interact with the KMS, right? To fetch the certificates or the keys. And also during signature verification workflow, for example, for notary projects, there are several validations that the libraries. Ratify use notation Go libraries need to check. And one of the validation is to perform revocation checking. The revocation checking also requires Ratify to index with external server. For example, if the revocation checking is through the OCSP, normally it will be it will be a server that Ratify act as a client and to fetch some revocation information from the OCSP responder. So this also has outbound messages, and also there will be some time consumed during this phase. And also if the revocation checking using CRL, normally it's certificate revocation list stored in some, for example, web server. Then Ratify need to download those lists and analyze the content in the file, and those lists could be updated regularly by the CA. So anyway, this also requires Ratify to interact with external server, send out messages, receive the response. So actually, you can see in the whole. Sorry, I forgot to mention the timestamping. The similar case for timestamping, Ratify also need to connect to the TSP timestamping server, and also even for the timestamping, we have the timestamp counter signature together in, for example, in the notary project signature, and those signature we also need to perform, for example, revocation checking, and that revocation checking also requires OCSP connection or CIL checking. So there are traffics, and the Ratify need to take some time to do that. So so this requires I think if user want to strictly verify signature, so those checks will be performed, and this will cause some lead time for the signature verification. And also, as we know that for some vendors, that there are some requirement on the lead time on the validating webhook, right? For example, Ratify needed to respond in certain seconds. So what if something happened in the different phase? For example, for the registry connection, if it is long, KMS interaction, and also for the revocation checking, if it takes more than seconds, so maybe Ratify will even Ratify can get the response back, but it's already a timeout for the validating webhook. So this issue is to discuss. I know that we have taken some efforts on the, for example, fetching the certificates once we configure KMS, right? We did some work, and also I know there are some caching in Ratify, but there are other scenarios like revocation checking and timestamping, because previously those are not fully supported by notary projects, for example. And also for cosign, if user by default, we enable the transparent log checking, user also, right? The validation also need to count this additional time that required for the transparent log checking. So what if something happened in between? So this issue is to discuss that. So we have a during signature verification in different steps, in different validation phases, there are traffics that and Ratify need to interact with the external server. So how can we properly handle the timeout or delay? And once those happen, and once the vendor has some time requirement on validating webhook, what will be the error messages that we respond? So So this issue, I would like to trigger the discussion to see whether we should add some caching mechanism for some cases, for example, revocation checking and also timestamping related, or we are fine with it, or anything else. So this is the purpose. And also this is talking about the signature verification, but also we for Ratify we have other artifact verification, right? For example, for spawn, for vulnerability reports. So if those artifacts also be signed, for example, in the future we have a attestation, we also need to perform a signature verification for those artifact verification as well. This also will introduce additional time for that. So yeah, so the purpose of the issue that to trigger the discussion to look at the overall signature verification lead time to see whether any action we need to take for different cases. And the goal is that Ratify can respond to the policy engine in quickly and also accurately, and also improve error handling for users if in any cases Ratify has to fail. What will be the error messages to the user so that they can understand the timeout, the delay is in which phase, because we have different interactions with other servers. Yeah, that's basically the purpose for this issue.
Thanks, Yi, for the summary about that. I'm curious on specifically for the notation side of things. Are we aware of any efforts on the Notary project side to actually do some benchmarking to understand what is kind of the P90 they're seeing in terms of latency for signature operations?
For Node project, for example, for the currently we don't have that performance results. For the revocation checking, I can talk about for the OCSP, we have I think currently is by default 2-second timeout, and the community currently is working on the design for the CRL checking. And that also requires some time. Actually, the CLI work triggered this issue that I created the issue because there will be another cases we needed to consider if user configure the revocation checking with the CLL. So we also needed to consider the time. So whether Ratify, what's the requirement from Ratify point for this revocation checking. So actually that's triggered this discussion. For the interaction with the registry and the interaction with the KMS, I think previously Ratify did some performance test. I think those applies to in some way Notary project as well, because it uses the notation library, Notary project libraries, and also ORAS. I think for those parts it applies. The previous performance testing still valid, but there are some other scenarios that is what I'm want to talking about. For example, revocation checking and also the timestamping function that's going to be supported in near future.
Is there a overall design document that we can take a look at from the Notary project side to understand how these checks are done? Are they done in parallel, or is it first a CRL check on the signature first, and then you check the timestamping one is performed after? I'm just trying to understand, like, so that we can see what is the actual time bucket time effect here. Because if you're saying it's 2 seconds for just one CRL operations, but if they're done serially, then that's much more different set of implications versus if they're done in parallel. So I think we first need to consider also
Yeah,
how.
for the replication checking, there are two methods.
Mhm.
The two second I mentioned is for the OCSP, if customer use this method, and this is the by default method, and also currently supported by Notary projects. For another CRL, currently it is still in progress. It was not released yet. So I think we ratify project and the Notary project committee, and I think this is also a good point that we can discuss during this feature design.
Also, I wonder if do you think if we need to prioritize this issue in the current milestone or next milestone?
I think for the CRL check, it's maybe Akash, can you open the roadmap file? So currently we are on 1.3, right? Yeah, so currently we have in 1.3 we have the timestamp support. Actually, as I mentioned, the revocation checking can have two methods. So currently we support OCSP. So I think for 1.3, it will be the timestamping support with the OCSP checking, and that is the 2 seconds I mentioned. And once Notary project support the CRL checking, it will be I think it will be sometime in September. So for Ratify 1.3, as we planned, we don't need to consider the CRL cases. But in later release 1.4, we should consider once the signature verification supports CRL, because it's actually normally it's by default supported by the library. User don't need to do any configurations. But we need to verify whether the lead time meets Ratify's requirements or any requirements from the policy engine. So I would say currently it is not urgent, but sometime in August, once the CLR design in Notary project is ready, we need to maybe review the design to see whether something that Ratify needed to take care of, for example, preload some CLL lists, something like that. It could be something like the periodic retriever that Josh is working on, that Ratify could periodically retrieve some CLL list ahead, so that to avoid the traffic during signature verification. So this is more about implementation, but overall, I'm thinking that previously we considered the registry KMS, and we Ratify did the performance test, right? And it meets the requirement from the gatekeeper, from some vendor, as we document. But there will be other cases that we need to consider whether those add additional time during signature verification, which leads to Ratify fails the signature verification. That is the purpose.
makes sense.
So I think we can keep this issue open um, and monitoring the work from Notary project once there is some design ready for the CLL, then we can maybe do some early testing to understand the time that Ratify needs to take.
Sounds good. Any other thoughts on this one?
I have a question to Bingbing. Do you see any other things could lead the signature verification take a long time that is not listed in this issue?
I feel for other so in the verification workflow, I feel only the like remote request is not controlled by the Ratify side. But for example, for other like computing stuff, we can do like some like improvement to like increase the computing speed. So that's something we can do on Ratify side. But for the remote request to like the to ACR or remote registry and also the OCSP CIR servers, then this is something we cannot control. So I feel for the timeout issue, my current point is that we should just focus on those remote requests for now. And in the future, if we see other like time-consuming operations, then we can do another improvement.
I think at least for now, for 1.3, we can focus on the error message handling. So if anything happens during signature verification, because it's a flow, it takes several steps. So
Yeah.
if anything happened, at least we can be clear in which phase it fails, right? So
Yeah.
that we can take actions accordingly, and also for the users.
But I feel for the timeout issue, it's a bit difficult to reproduce. But I added those two scenarios in the like error handling documentation. But if we do want to reproduce it, I feel it might take take some like additional effort.
Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about that testing later. Yeah, especially for the replication checking with OCSP. I think I can check with the Notary project community to see whether any ways to test it.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I don't have anything else related to this issue. I just want to bring this into attention that potentially there could be some issues during signature verification once timestamping and also revocation checking with the CLL. These two features are implemented in Notary project, so there could be potential impact on Ratify the lead time. But we need to keep monitoring this issue over time. Yeah. And we can start with the error message, error handling first.
Great. Any other issues? We have 5 minutes left. Okay. Feynman?
For the error message improvement, Bingbing initiated this work last week, and I'm looking at the table, the assignment table, it seems we still have some testing scenarios that has not been assigned to specific members. I'm curious, is there any further work on the assignment?
Oh, I feel because firstly, the student is out this week,
I see.
so I'm almost done with my part of the cosine Ratify. I will take some remaining tests, and also I saw Akash, you also left comment that you will pick up some of them. So yeah, we can just keep doing the testing and see what's remaining.
Yeah, I've started on it, Bin. Could you make the note editable? I don't.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
able to
just
edit
added
it.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So I think all of the sections for the most part are assigned. We just haven't filled out all of the boxes. We just put the name at the first box in that section that that person is assigned to.
Okay, I see the signature verification, the last table
Mhm.
in the HackMD.
Yeah, I
There's
think
no-
for my part,
Yeah, go ahead. There might be some network latency.
Anyways, for the
yes, can I speak?
yes, go for it.
Sorry, it's a unstable network connection. So I discussed some of this testing with Bin before my vacation last week. And for this week, I have some prioritized work I need to complete before end of this Friday. So for this week, I don't have any time. Sorry for that, but definitely I needed to work on this probably starting from next Tuesday. Yeah, I can foresee. Yeah.
Yeah, and Feynman, I think you brought up a good point. The last table, I've left a comment there. I wasn't able to edit the table, but I think I'll take most of that table to verify it. You know, some of those rely upon timestamping, so we'll skip those, but I'll try to,
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll update that today with my name. Great. If we don't have anything else, I think we can wrap up for today.
Yep. Thanks, Akash. Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
okay.
Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you.
Bye.